Hello, Flosstube. Elizabeth Martinez, phantastitches, coming at you with a special extra edition, a Flosstube extra. This is I'm doing an extra video of finishes and an FFO parade for 2023. And I thought I'd show. I have a couple of older finishes. I don't know when I did them, but I just have a few things left in my to be FFO'd pile. And I thought I would. Sorry, I have something on my glasses. Thought I would show them. And if you look back here at this tree, all but about a couple of those, most of them are finishes also, and I'll show those a little up close later on when we get to that. But so I'm gonna go ahead and jump in because I don't know how long this is gonna be, and I'm semi-organized, but we shall see. So let me make sure I have everything. One thing I wanted to touch on real quick was just a few more Christmas cards that came in the mail in the last few days. A couple of them from a couple of my cousins. This one here. And this one here. And then one from a friend of mine who sent this one here. It's a piece in all kinds of different languages. So there's those. I just wanted to share those. Christmas is over now, so yeah. I have a few finishes that are older, and I don't know when I did them exactly. This is the 2019 Prairie Schooler Santa. I did this some time ago. It may have been not 2023, but before that. There's this one here, the one with the little sheeps. And this is the 2020 Santa. These two are among my favorites. I don't know why I haven't FFO'd them. They were not on my little FFO list. This one here. And these are done on, I think, like an 18 count Ada. And like I said, I don't know when I finished them, but it might have been 2021. I don't really know. And then this is a little freebie. Sorry, this is my corner start thread. A little freebie from Luminous Fiber Arts. This is called Frosty. And she did hers all in red here on this tag template is on her website, I believe. And yeah, and so she cut it from mat board, and then I think she used like it looks like a grommet or something here, and stuff. So there's some finishing instructions on it, but I probably won't finish it that way. But this is also, I think, on an 18 count Ada. I have like just, scraps of this. They're like coffee dyed, that I did myself. But I used this bright blue. It's actually more of almost a teal color that I used to finish that. And this I finished like in January or something, I think, of this past year. I wrote it down here, I think. Maybe I didn't. I don't know when I finished it. I have notes about when I finished things, but since I didn't FFO this little Frosty guy, he didn't make the cut. I don't know when I finished it, but I think it was earlier this year. Um, so anyway, there's those, and then over the summer I did CrossStitch camp, and they were all challenges to finish within a month. So the first one was, I think, stitch something with a bird, and it was the challenge. So I did this by the Sweetheart Tree, Itty Bitty Kitty, and the baby robin. So it's not very big because I thought, oh, I could do that really quickly. It's not big at all. It's only like I want to say, yeah, 35 by 35, right? But it's a lot of stitching in there. There's some over one, I think. And yeah, over one on the little robin is over one. And there's a lot of back stitching, some partial stitches. Yeah. So it's not as easy as it seems. I'd had that chart for a while. And there's some, I think there's supposed to be, beads. They'll like petite Milhel beads or something, and I just used some little tiny beads that I had. And I just added these in the corner. I think they're supposed to be. Oh no, maybe they are supposed to be in the corner. Oh, there's also satin stitches, all kinds of crazy things that I didn't realize were in this chart. So all those these green leaves here are done in satin stitches. So there's back stitching, cross stitching, satin stitching, beads, over one, just everything imaginable in this 35 little stitches. And I think I just modified a little bit of the back stitching in here because oh yeah, there's supposed to be bows in the corners here, and I just left those out and did these little swirly things instead because the bows, I was trying to follow what was on the chart, but they weren't coming out like this. They were coming out like blobs, so they just looked like blobs. You couldn't tell, I don't know if I was doing it on too small, because I think the model was stitched on 25 count, and this is, I want to say maybe 32. It's really tiny. This little piece of linen that, again, I coffee tea dyed this, I think, some time ago. I just had this little scrap somewhere. So anyway, that's another finish that is not FFO'd. And this was for July. That was for June for CrossStitch Camp. This was July. I did this little whale, whales, Noah's Christmas Ark by Plum Street Sampler, and it's whales and squirrels, and I did the whales here. And again, I thought, oh, it's going to be easy. It's small. It's small, but it's full coverage. And so this is also on I think a scrap of that same linen, that same 32 count linen. So yeah, there's just a lot of stitching because it's full coverage within that square. But that's the whales. And then for August, and I forget the challenge there was something that grows, I think. And this one, stitch something new. And I'd never done, I'd had this chart for a while by Bendy Stitchy, and I'd never done a Bendy Stitchy chart before. And I thought, oh, it's small. It's only 49 by 25. And actually, this one was pretty easy. But it calls for étoile. One of the, I think, one of the colors of this moose. And so it's also on that same fabric. It's there. So yeah, I think that 12, yeah, is in the body of the moose. You're on it. You can't really see there's a little bit of sparkle. You can almost see there, and because I did it on this darker fabric, the little snowflakes really pop out there. So yeah, there's that. So these have not been FFO'd either. And I didn't put any FFOs on my list um, for this year, for this coming year, just because I didn't have quite the pile that I used to have before. And then my last finish that I did for this year was Parade of Elephants. This is a chart by the Blue Flower, and I thought I had the chart of the picture from the magazine, but I don't. I just had the chart, not the. Excuse me, just a minute. Sorry that I dropped something there. So like I said, I thought I had the picture of the the finished picture from the magazine. This was in Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher. She did a series of like I think one was called The Glaring of Cats. Another is something about, I want to say, peacocks, and I forget what the other one is. But this is a Parade of Elephants, and the model in the magazine was stitched on like a gray bluish fabric, and you could barely see the elephants. So I had this. This is 28 count Lugana, and I had dyed it this funky wine-ish color, and I thought, I don't know what I'm going to do with that, because it's not my normal color palette kind of, but I stitched the elephants in the called for colors, and they came out really nicely. Now this little border is done in a variegated DMC, and what I did was I stitched both lines at the same time, so the color variations in the thread come out the same, because as I hit the different colors, they were paralleled like this, so they came out paralleled like that. So I think that was a nice effect. So that's Parade of Elephants by the Blue Flower, and like I said, I don't seem to have the picture of the model of that. So let me just put this out there, because I've got a lot of junk around here. So those were my finishes that were not FFO'd, that I finished, with the exception of those two Santas that I finished this year. So now on to my FFO parade, and this is going to be, I wanted to kind of do it in order. Oh, some of these FFOs I gave away as gifts, so I don't have the actual physical object with me. Most of them I showed, or most or all of them I showed in my regular updates as I did them. But I do have photographs of the finishes. So actually, I want to do these, the ones I don't have pictures of. So I think I have them. Yeah, I mean, just double check here. Some that were, that I did that were not on my, that were not part of my FFO list. Okay, so this is the FFO list, and this is what I did. Okay, so my sister-in-law's birthday is in January. And so, I don't know if you can see this. I don't know what washes out, glares out. But it's a hoop finish of I want to say the Leisure Arts kit. I think I wrote it down. But anyway, it's called Spicy Disaster. And here is the chart. Yeah, here. Okay, Leisure Arts kit. Sorry. So it's the words say, "I'm not a hot mess. I'm a spicy disaster." So it's designed. You get this little hoop, and it's designed to be a hoop finish. So I wrapped the hoop in this orange ribbon and finished it that way. And you try to get a good picture of it without the glare, without the picture washing out. There it is. So I stitched it in the called for on the called for fabric, and I think I just left it white as it called for, I believe, as it the white Ada that it came with. Try to get my phone to turn. Well, oh. Or I might have actually changed it to a different fabric than the white Ada that it came with. I'm not really sure. Just looking at the picture, it looks like I might have used a different fabric. Yeah, I used like a linen, I think, rather than the white Ada. And then, like I said, I finished it with the ribbon around the edge, and I did have to sort of cannibalize the screw that goes in the hoop, because with the ribbon it kind of expanded it a little too much, and I couldn't close it. So I went through my other stuff, and I found another screw for the top that was longer and fit in that thing. So anyway, that's Spicy Disaster. And then the next thing I did, okay, so that was the a January extra for her birthday. And then going with my FFO list of my WhipGo FFOs. So I had one for each square, or at least one for each square. So in January, I had on my list, I had, let's find it again here, what I called Safari Elephant, and Midnight Meow. Midnight Meow is one of my oldest whips. I had forever, and it took me forever. I hadn't finished it, just because, whatever. I had set it aside at one. Oh, I think I had taken all the threads out, and they were like kit threads. And I think at some point I threw them away accidentally. So I didn't have the right threads, and I just sort of, when I got back to it, I sort of looked up DMC equivalents and went with that. But so first of all, I had this book by just CrossStitch called Safari, and there's the elephant that I did. And the FFO. Uh-oh, wait. Is here. I picked up this board from Walmart. It's just a whitewashed board with a jute hanger here. And the elephant I stitched just on the white Ada that I used for many things in those days. And actually, this is this chart I did in 2016 or 17, and it's one of the all this grass is done like just it's supposed to be long stitches, and there was some other chart I was doing at the time that called for doing couching, and I was like, I don't know what that is, and my sister said, oh, look it up, I'm sure there's there's tutorials about it on YouTube or whatever. And so I was looking at YouTube, and I kept seeing Flosstube. I'm like, what does that mean? And so I started watching Flosstubes, and that's kind of how I got started. So so I've had this a long time, and I finished it in probably 2017, and finally FFO'd it last year. So this is, I like I said, I stuck it to a piece of sticky board or mat board or something, some kind of board, and glued it to this thing. And I used yarn for the border on there. So I think it matches the grass and savanna kind of color very nicely. So that is Safari Elephant. And then Midnight Meow. I think I have the original Jeannine chart here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. So this is a little kit, Jiffy. I want to say Jeannine, but what is it? Oh, Dimensions. It's Dimensions, actually. Jiffy Sunset Dimensions. This little thing. So it came with Black Ada, and I think the instructions said something about like using 3 threads, and because I have an obsession about even numbers, I was stitching it with 4 threads, and I was thinking, yeah, that's not really, so I was stitching it with 4 threads, and then I had started it and then put it down at some point. And so I decided, when I picked it back up, I finished whatever cat I was working on with 4 threads. I went ahead and finished that. But then I switched to doing the rest of them with 2 threads. And you can't really tell the difference there, So I finished it on this board I bought, I think, at either Hobby Lobby or Walmart. It has this little jute hanger on it. And I painted it black, and I did these little polka dots. In a method I learned while I was back in Little Rock. There was a place called the Painted Pig, and I just used the butt end of a paintbrush, and dipped it in the paint, and just touched it here to make all the little dots that matched these little French knot dots in the sky there. And there's the kitties. So yeah, finished that. That's Midnight Meow by Dimensions. I kept saying Jeannine, but it's not. It's Jiffy. It's Dimensions. And then let me make sure I'm getting all of these. Okay. And so that was January. February was let me just double check here. Yeah, Squirrel's Night Out, and Pumpkin Pile and Ghoul's Garland, and I added in Catoween Cow in there. Those are stitching with the Housewives. Squirrel's Night Out is done by, let me see, I should have the chart here somewhere. Oh, golly, I just dropped something. It was a little kit that I bought at the attic by, there it is, the Primitive Jewel. So it's a little kit that comes with this little wooden tag and this string here, and then instructions on how to do this, the little squirrel, and it comes with this the chart and the cloth and everything. So here it is. And I didn't do it quite. I added, there's some black cording trim around here. I had some like a black ribbon kind of trim that I put on there, and I'm not real happy with if you can kind of see the where I glued it here. But anyway, that's the little cord that it came with, and so there is Squirrel's Night Out by the Primitive Jewel. Okay. And the other one was Pumpkin Pile and Ghoul's Garland, and then I went ahead and added Catoween Cow to that group. Let me get all of these together here. Because I had the first two, Pumpkin Pile and Ghoul's Garland, and what I decided to do with them matched up very nicely to these other charts. So here's Ghoul's Garland and Pumpkin Pile. I'm just going to show real quick. Whoop. I don't have a picture. I just have the chart. And I think it might have been like a freebie if you buy. Yeah, it was just a little freebie like for Halloween, something that they did. That has a cat on the top of these pumpkins. Priscilla had at that time a cat, one of her son's cats living with her, called Cal, and oops, there it is. That's what Catoween Cal is from. Also, that's a cat dressed in his Halloween costume. So I had those three stitching with Housewives charts. So I finished them all together. Sorry, I have these in a pile based on size. So it's a little discombobulated. So I found this little tombstone some time ago in the Target dollar spot. And I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it, but I thought, oh, that would make a great finishing item. So I finished them with this. This is a orange fabric that I put on I don't know what, a piece of cardboard or something. I don't know what. And then the stitching I finished on. I had this fabric that I had dyed. I had dyed it early on because I was going to do the Sleepy Hollow chart by Tiny Modernist, and but it was too dark because there's a lot of black in that chart, and so I re-dyed a different piece of fabric for that. But I had this purpley black gray fabric, and I didn't know what I was going to do with it, and I thought, oh, well, that'll work perfectly for these Halloween charts. So there's the Pumpkin Pile, and there's Ghoul's Garland. And then there is Catoween Cow. And the reason this one is up here is because it's actually a little bit smaller. So they fit very nicely on here. And I just finished them with the purple rickrack behind them. So there's that. There's those three charts. And then Eeyore and the Bees and Four Fat Friends. So Eeyore and the Bees is right here, sorry. Trying not to have a crap-a-lanch over here. So I've had this chart forever. This is a Disney chart that I don't know if I have the chart here, a picture of it. I don't know if I kept it in those days. But I'd had it forever, and I just had gotten to a certain point and not finished it. And so I eventually finished it when I got back into stitching, and then of course it was in my to be FFO'd pile. I don't seem to have a picture of Eeyore. But so I added it to my FFO pile, and I got these little bee buttons I added on there, and I think this was the first piece that I laced on here. I laced it, and then I edged it with this. I think it's a blue, yeah, it's like sort of a grayish blue yarn. And then I had this little easel that I got at Target, at the dollar spot at Target, and it has a little, little kick thing so it stands up. So there's Eeyore and the bees. And this is a Disney chart. They've used this same chart in several different Disney books and kits and whatever. They have like 3 or 4, 6 maybe at the most of these charts of Winnie the Pooh and Piglet and Eeyore, but they're always, they all look the same. They're just, in different books and, things like that. But anyway, so this is Eeyore and the Bees. And I made a little bit of a mistake somewhere in here. So it's slightly, this bow is slightly larger or something because I miscounted, but you can't tell. So there it is. Eeyore and the Bees. And then the other one I did along with that was For Fat Friends. And that is, sorry, I have all my pillow finishes over here. I did that as a pillow. And this was a freebie from the drawn thread. So the only picture I have of it is the chart. So this was For Fat Friends. And it took me forever to finish this just because I think it's like... some of it is done. I think the feet are done with one thread, and I don't know. It just, for some reason, it just languished for a while. But so I finally finished it, and then I put this red polka dot fabric on the back, and I think this is Lady Dot Creates chenille on the edge there that I stitched on there. So there's that. And then this little hedgehog and Mini Spring is the chart that fell over there. So hold on one second. Oh, golly. Okay. This is Mini Spring, and the picture of it fell down over there. But so this is probably one of my most elaborate finishes. This little wooden plank thing. I don't remember if I bought it at Hobby Lobby or Walmart, probably. But this is the chart itself. And then I added this rickrack and this green fabric. It has these little flowers on it. And then there's a little button. I think I just glued it on. I don't think I sewed it on. And then these little guys are buttons also, little bugs. There's another bee. There is a butterfly, I think. And I think that's supposed to be a firefly. And there's a caterpillar and a ladybug. And I just thought they would look really nicely because they're kind of shank buttons, but they sit very nicely on the wood here. Yeah. So I'll get that chart and show you in a minute. But that was one of the things, and the other one is this little hedgehog, Little Hedgie by Just Nan. And here it is. This is a chart that I won from a lady, I can't remember her name now, She and her husband did, I don't know if they still do it, I think, a Flosstube called the Kitchen Stitchers. And, but she had a giveaway on her channel at one time, and I won this little chart. And she sent me some stuffing to put inside it, and then it was a little kit. It came with this leaf and this little button on this rear end here, and then all these little pins to make him spiky. And came with these other little, pins, and there's his little nose, his little face. That's really cute. So I have him right here, and you can't see him. He's here on the edge there. Anyway, so that's the Just Nan chart. And hold on one second while I fetch the. Sorry, this is the chart, the picture for Mini Spring. This is from the Heart Needle Art by Wendy. Yeah, is the designer of that. Okay, so then the Ice Skating Penguin and Blackwork Angels. Hold on one second. Okay, so next on my list was the, if you notice, I stripped all the ornaments off of that little tree. See that little star up there? My dad made that star when he and my mom first got married. I think the first year they were married. It's cut out of a bottom of a tin can with little tin snips, and then some glitter glued on the front. And then there's some little, those little holly berries that come on a wire, like a berry on each end, and there's a piece of wire connecting them. We bought those at Hobby Lobby, but that was how they were stuck on the tree at first. The little holly berries were through there, and then there was like a piece of wire or something to tie it to the tree. And so we found that little star when my parents moved out here, I guess. And my dad was like, "Why do you want to keep that?" Because he was like, it's like when they were poor and they were young, whatever, they had that that little star, and it's just like it's wonderful. So we stuck that on our little tree there. So anyway, so I had the Blackwork Angels and then the Ice Skating Penguin. So the little festive penguin card kit, it's called, by Helt's Couple Ditch, and this was a little freebie with a magazine. What is the name of the magazine? It was CrossStitch Crazy, a little freebie with the magazine. And that is, I had it in my hands. Oh, here it is. So it came as a little card, like with an envelope. You could put it in, whatever. And so I thought, my sister said, "Hey, that's a real easy FFO. You just put it in the little card, and you could, if you sent it as a card, you could write your message there." But so I just FFO'd it in the card. I just stuck it to a piece of something, a cardboard or whatever, and stuck it in the card. And it's glued inside, in here. So there's a little penguin. He's really cute. And then my great thing was that I love so much was these Blackwork Angels by the Prairie Schooler. And this was, I first saw these Ginger Gerald, Flosstube account. He hasn't done an update in a long time, so I don't know if he's still doing them or not. But anyway, he did a couple of these and showed them on his channel, and I just absolutely fell in love with them and went and sought out this chart. And so I had done, I think, one or two, and the first time I did CrossStitch camp, one of the months, the challenge was do something inspired by somebody else or whatever. So I thought, it's Blackwork Angels, because that was inspired by Ginger Gerald doing them. So I did one or two for CrossStitch camp. But so then also, somewhere I saw another one, and I don't seem to have the little card kept with these. Oh wait, unless it's in here. Aha, there it is. So I had seen this, and this is a Prairie Schooler little card. They have several of these, and this is from card pack number 10. I had seen this somewhere, and I went looking for this card pack. So I have the other cards that came in this, but this one I took because it goes with the Blackrock Angels. And also, it mentions here Starry Night, and that's another one that I bought that I'm working on this year. It's on my whip go list for this year. But anyway, so there's that little one. So, so I did have it. But what I like about them, so this is the little one from the little card. And I did them all on this same fabric. This is a 20, I want to say it's 28 count Lugana that I dyed myself. I think it's like coffee tea dyed or whatever. And this is a black velvet ribbon that I used for a hanger. And this cloth I got at Mull Queen. It's a quilt shop here in town. And then I made this cording with black and gold DMC. And put it on there. So this is really, really pretty. These little angels. And then these are the Blackwork Angels themselves. And they're all finished the same way. So there's this one. That's that. And this one. And I used the toile on this harp. And all my Blackwork Angels have these little, they have black stars instead of gold stars because I didn't read the instructions. So in the instructions it talks about, backstitching and blah, blah, blah. And it talked about doing these stars with the gold thread. And I had already done one of them and I did the stars with black there because in the chart, it's a black and white chart. It doesn't look any different. And I didn't really, except for the symbols for the gold and the black, but all the backstitching and all that just, looks all the same. So I didn't think about it. And I did so I had done one or two of the charts with black stars. And so I just did them all with the black stars. And I kind of like the way it looks. But yeah, so the harp strings I did in toile to give them a little bit of sparkle. But all the rest of the goldish looking stuff I did with black. I don't think I for the fire on this candle I used a toile also. There's this one. There's this. And there's this one. I like this one with the little doves. And there's this. And there's this one. And again with the strings, I used a toile. And the strings of the lute. And one more, this one with the little sheep. So I just love the sort of medieval kind of look. And Starry Night is very similar look to it that these the Blackwork Angels have. So I'm looking forward to working on that. I think I just did just a very tiny start on it. As a new start this year, and so I'm hoping to get more of that done. Put this back up here at the foot of the little Christmas tree. Let's set these aside here. My other Christmas tree. So then for June, I did the January, February, and March Rabbits. These are by ink circles. And so there's one for every month. If I can put my hands on the chart. There you go. So there's January. And February. And March. So those are the charts, and I have all of them in some various states of finishing. So I am going to try to finish the rest of them this year. They're on my whip goat chart. So this is January, and I did this in June for June or July for my first cross-stitch camp thing. And these are charted in silks, and I had never used silk before, and I think that was one of the challenges, is like, or maybe I did in August, do something you've never done before, either a new designer or whatever, just like I did Christmas mousse this year. So I'd never stitched in silk before, so I bought the silk for these charts, and I think it's Gentle Arts, Gloriana. Yeah, Gloriana. And so after I did this, I decided to do all of the rabbits. I think I had already bought them all, but I had not bought, I think, all the Gloriana silks. And she has on her website, I think, a list. She has borders. Like, if you want to do borders, you want to do them all at once, you could do one. I mean, all in one piece. You could do a border to separate them all or whatever. But she also has like a chart that has like the DMC equivalents or whatever. But so it uses basically the same palette, all of these different silks. So anyway, I finished it on this little disc. I went. These are meant to be a garland, they have these holes on them, so you could string them across and write "Happy Birthday" or something on them, and they're like a chalk finish. They're cardboard, but they're this black finish. You could use a piece of chalk and write on there, and so I found this little pack at, I want to say at Michael's or Hobby Lobby or something, and it came with like a jute string or something, and then some chalk. But instead, I had the idea that I would, this is finished with cording, and then from DMC cording, and then a piece of the same DMC here to hold this little tag, and this tag has I found this tape, the roll of tape that has the months on it, right? So this little tag came from Hobby Lobby. That might be where this disc was from. I don't know, but so all the rabbit charts are the same size, so it fits very nicely, just right on this chart. And then I bought, and I had it right here, and now I can't put my hands on it. Here it is. One of these little easel stand thing. I mean, little stands. And so the chart goes, if I can do it upside down and backwards, goes in here. And so you can change out the month as it goes along. So there's January. And here is February. And again, I made cording here and then used a piece of it to string the month there. And that's February. And here is March. The cording, I use that to string the thing. And there's March. So there's that. Okay. And then, oh yeah, the snowman. I had written PP on the snowman, next to the snowman, because I meant to do the Puntini snowman. It's actually, the chart's called Hi Mom on there, and I didn't do that. I mistook PP to mean Priscilla's pocket, because I had this little snowman from Priscilla's pocket, and I thought, oh, that must be what it means. But it wasn't what it meant. So I had done previously, from Priscilla's pocket, they had at the attic, they had all these little charts, that were her the stoneware charts. And so there were several that were animals and several that were floral. And I had done the stoneware cat and stoneware kitten, which are two little kitty charts. And I had bought this twice, actually. Stoneware bunny. And this I had stitched some time ago, I think. Or maybe I had it. But anyway, but the kit comes with the fabric and the thread. This is Blackberry Jam by, I can't remember if it's Gentle Arts or Weeks Dye Works or whatever, who it is. But it comes with the black raspberry jam. So it came as a little kit. Oops. So I don't know if I stitched this at the same month that I did the snowman, but anyway, I mistakenly thought PP meant Priscilla's pocket and this little snowman, and so I did that. And it also, I think I found this fabric for the backing, but I finished them all the same way, and they came with this little pom-pom trim and the fabric and the black raspberry jam thread to finish them. So that's the little Priscilla's pocket. Making a mess here, sorry. And so I also then, the next thing I did was Elephant and Pug, which is an owl forest embroidery chart. And I had bought, when I bought the Elephant and Pug, I had bought 3 owl forest embroidery charts. One is Monster Wonder Whale, which is one of my whips. It has been on my Whip Go board for the last couple of years, but it's not this coming year. But I also bought these 2 smalls, Elephant and Pug and Dragonfly and Ant. And so this was on my FFO list, and I had not stitched this yet. But I went ahead and stitched this very quickly so I could finish it and finish them together. So again, I used yarn for the border trim there, and these were done in the owl forest embroidery threads and fabric that comes with these little kits. And I think it's 32 count, this fabric. So there's Elephant and Pug and Dragonfly and Ant, and it's in Cyrillic. This is part of their Fable series, I think it's what they're called. So I think, and this board is I think it's from Walmart. And it came with this little jute hanger. So there's that. I'm going to put this over here because I'm running out of room. And Christmas at Winterberry Farm, that was the other FFO for that month. So this, I had finished stitching it in 2020, And I had meant to give this to my mother as a Christmas present, and then she passed away just before Christmas that year. So it had been languishing in my finished pile. But so this is by, I want to say, it's a Brenda Gervais chart with a needle and thread. I had it right here. Yeah. Yeah, this is Brenda Gervais. It's a little bit scrappy here because I had a vinyl front project back and it stuck to the vinyl there. But and this chart actually, I had to make a working copy of it because where it was folded, like the ink was like kind of cracking off or something. It was the type of ink they used, I guess, whatever. But so this was the original chart. It's a Brenda Gervais chart. And here I did a pillow finish. This is Lady Dot Creates chenille, what do you call it? Velveteen. And I used this little red ribbon. I just glued it on there. It was red ribbon that I bought. It's a bunch of Christmas ribbon, Christmas type style colors and themes ribbon that I bought at Michael's, and they were just little spools of, I don't even know how much, not very much at all, just a yard or two or something like that, a yard and a half, I don't know, very little. But so yeah, so I trimmed that. This is Christmas at Winterberry Cabin. And then Hippity Hop and I can't even read this. Beneath the Bough. There's Hippity Hop. Let's see if I can find it. Is that this one? No. I don't remember how I did Hippity Hop. If I can find it, I can remember. Oh, it's a pillow finish. That's why I can't find it. So Hippity Hop is by Primrose Cottage Stitchers. And yeah. Primrose Cottage Stitches. Hippity Hop. And it's from the Lindsay's Stamp series is the series it's a small square, and it's only 43 by 43. But I finished it on this. I had this bunny ribbon. I'd had it for a while. I bought it at, I don't know if it was at Joann's or Michael's. I don't think it was Hobby Lobby. But I also had this little flower button, and I had this orange fabric that I think I bought it at Hobby Lobby. It was one of the little fabric packs. But I trimmed it with this orange little cording that I bought a spool of at Hobby Lobby, I think. But anyway, I meant to put this button in the middle, right in the middle of this chart. But I lined it up with the bunny's tail, and I didn't even snap that this flower is actually the center of the chart, not the bunny, because of the H in hop, and the bunny is the O in hippity hop, right? So his tail is not the center of the chart. The little flower is, but my sister said, well, it looks cool with that off center. So yeah, I don't know if that's true, but that's hippity hop. That's how I finished it. Yeah. So there's that. And then the other one was Beneath the Bough. And this is a Chessie and me chart, and this is the only picture I have. It doesn't show the back, but it's supposed to be like a little a scissor fob, I think. But I just did a pillow finish on it. And if I'd have snapped, I would have made this edging the actual edge and stitch like you do a biscornu. You use the back stitched edge, to stitch them together. I would have used that as the, if I'd have thought it through, I would have used that as the border, but I didn't. So I just made it a little pillow finish. So there's the front. That's a little kitty sitting beneath the acorn bough, and it has a lot of specialty stitches. It has satin stitching in the acorn cap, and I want to say like either it's Algerian eyelets or something along those lines, and I can't remember. I think they're used in these leaves or something like that. Yeah, it was all very tiny, and then my initials here on the back. And if I had charted it more carefully, I think I would have put it, started it a little lower. But live and learn. But this was also like a little kit, and it came with this fabric, and I don't know if it came with the threads or not. I don't remember. But so that's Beneath the Bough by Chessie and me. Yeah. And then I had a whole bunch of smalls. That I did, I think that was in July. I had a whole bunch of smalls that were just like small charts that had been piling up forever. Yeah, so a bunch of them I did as little pillow finishes. And okay, and some of them I did as ornaments. Okay, so this is a little freebie from Lindy Stitches. I had ordered something, and she sent this postcard chart. It's supposed to be like a little, she finished it here as a little scissor fob. But I did it, I changed the color a little bit, on the chart. He has this has a little pink balloon, and I used purple instead. I think that's the only change I made, really. And the fabric, I just used a scrap of, I want to say it's 18 count Ada. And then I just finished it with this little rickrack I glued on the edge, but I made it into a needle minder. So I had this purple fabric, and I glued the magnet on there, so it's a little needle minder. So there's that. And then I had this Santa. I had my problematic Santa, I call him, because I'd had it forever, this little chart. And it was one of those things that comes with a little plastic frame to finish it in. And I have the frame, but I can't seem to put my hands on the chart. Just a second. Sorry. I don't know. I don't seem to have the chart here. Maybe I do. One second. Or not. I don't know. But so, yeah, I don't. Anyway, I had this little chart, and it came with one of those plastic frames, but I cut this wrong. I didn't leave enough of a margin to finish it. I cut it to fit the frame, sort of, but not to fit like a piece of cardboard or whatever, a board on it. So I sort of recut it. I cut a piece of mat board or something like that to finish it on, and I just like cut it smaller, and just barely fit. And then I used, I bought this ornament shape, like at Hobby Lobby or something, and it came with, I think the pack came with like maybe three or six or something of these ornaments with the little jute hanger, and it just barely fits on there, and I used this red ribbon to trim it. Except it's very, it comes apart. The ribbon it's like 3 pieces of ribbon braided together. And so the minute you snip it, it comes apart, right? So I glued it on there, and I glued it on the bottom, and I kind of tucked it behind the stitching so that it would, to hide the glued ends or whatever. But I miscalculated a little bit, and it left a white space there. So I got this little charm and made a bow out of ribbon and glued it on there. Except that the charm, and sometime before I glued it on, the paint chipped a little bit in Santa's hat. You can't see it when it's hanging on the tree, whatever. But the little charm that my sister had matches the Santa just right, with his beard and his hat, and the shape. The little moon shape echoes the shape here. So there's Santa, the Santa ornament. And then and another small I had was this little nativity. It's one of those little simple kits that you get at, I think I've got it at Hobby Lobby or someplace. This is a Busilla kit. And if I'd have thought it through, again, I don't know why I wasn't thinking. I didn't like lace it or gather it or whatever. So you have these little pointy ends here. I didn't do it right. But anyway, so I used another one of these ornament shapes, and again, this came with like a little, I think a little square, either square or round plastic frame thing that I decided not to use. And I used this ribbon yarn. It's sort of a golden yellow yarn to finish it. Yeah. And then another small that I had was this little rabbit, and it again was one of those kits. And instead of using the frame that it came with, I put it on here. And this one I did gather it, whatever, to make the round shape. And I used this orange ribbon again. And I had this carrot ribbon that I bought, again, like with that bunny ribbon, I bought them together. And this is a little, I don't know if this is from Hobby Lobby, but it came with this little wooden bunny on there, and it just fits on the little bunny's rear end. And it came with this little jute hanger thing. So, yeah. So there's that. And then I also had this little, it was I don't remember if it was a freebie or I think it was a freebie, at the attic. They had their Bristol weekend or something like that, and I think this was part of that. It was a little kit that was left over, from there. But it came with this little fabric and the chart for this little thing. And I found this ribbon to, as my sister says, it's a pillow for your big toe. It's a little tiny, tiny pillow. But yeah, so there's that. And then also I had this kitty. This is a freebie from Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting. I only have the chart. I don't have a picture. But so it's a kitty, and I had stitched it on. This is 28 count Lugana, I think. And I again put this orange fabric on it and use that orange trim again. So it's called Itty Bitty Kitty. No, it's called Happy Cat, an Itty Bitty Chart. Happy Cat by Peeker and Pumpkin Quilting. And I think, did I show? Oh yeah, this is the bunny. The little bunny. See, it comes with that, plastic things. This is a artiste kit. And then I had this ribbon embroidery. It was supposed to be part of this, and I ended up doing it, I think, like, I don't know. Oh, wait, one other thing. Oh, this. I don't think I have it was just a chart. It was, this was a phrase that Kitten Stitcher, Theresa Vanette, talked about, that it was a song sung by Mr. Rogers guy. What is his name? Fred Rogers. It's You I Like is the name of the song, but it's a nice little phrase, and I've stitched it a few times for some friends or whatever. But I had this that I'd stitched on this red fabric, and I put this little border on there. I made the little border. So I had it sitting around with red fabric. I didn't know what to do with it, and so it's a little pillow. I had this fabric in my stash, and this ribbon. Cording, a little shiny blue cording. I had forever, but so I made that little pillow. And then was supposed to be part of this group, and of smalls that I forgot, that I wanted to. I wanted to refinish it because I stitched this a long time ago. This was a Jeannine kit of ribbon embroidery. It's cross-stitch and then ribbon embroidery, and it came with this little paper card thing, and I finished it like this for my mom. Instead of putting what says "Friends Forever" across the top, I put "I love you, Mom" or something like that on there, and gave it to my mother. And then when we were helping them move in 2000, my sister and I went out in 2018 to help them pack up the house and stuff like that. And I came across this, and the little paper card thing was kind of coming apart, and it was like I followed the finishing instructions that came with this, and it said something about use a piece of cardboard and masking tape and blah, blah, and I was like, that's what I did. And I was like, the masking tape had like hardened and just like came off, and so, and I cut the corners very badly, and so you can kind of see the little frayed edges there. But I found this at Hobby Lobby. It's just a little wooden panel, and it goes in this frame thing. And I painted the panel on the frame. And the reason the other side is painted is because I wasn't sure which side I was going to use, because looking at them, whichever one I preferred or whatever. But then I put this little, I think it came with jute or something on the hanger, but I used this ribbon instead. But I recut, I think I cut a piece of mat board or something. So it's a little bit smashed because it's, I've had it for years, and I've tried to fluff it up a little bit, but anyway, so the flower petals and everything are done in ribbon, and this border and these ribbons here, these are French knots, I think. And then the rest is cross stitch, the kitty and the flower pots. But yeah, so I redid that. And then also I had sorry, I'm just looking at my little lists here. So the Bottini snowman I don't have here with me. Because again, it was a gift. So this is the one I meant to do when I did the Priscilla's Pocket. So this is a pretty bad picture, but it's called Hi Mom is the name of it. But it was Bottini, and it came with this little button here for the snowflake and this button for his carrot nose. And I had stitched it a long time ago, and then like never got around to finishing it. And I don't have the I did a pillow finish, and I don't have it with me. But I do have a picture of it, I believe. Oh, maybe I didn't take... Yeah, here it is. There's a picture of it. So there's his little nose and the little button, the snowflake on his hand. Here it is. Yeah. So I did that. And I also did the baby sampler, which I joke my sisters and I've jokingly called the old man sampler, because I started it when my sister was pregnant with my nephew. My younger sister was pregnant with my older nephew, and I started it a few months before he was born, and then I hadn't finished it by the time he was born, and I sort of lost my mojo a little bit, and so it took me years to finish it. I think I had finished stitching all the alphabet, but not. It has a lot of backstitching. Every letter has backstitching, and I don't know that I had finished the backstitching of the alphabet, and I had not finished the border. But so I finished it eventually, but then I didn't FFO it. It was sitting around, and so I finally FFO'd it on this little board that I got at, I want to say at Hobby Lobby. It was just a little, board thing with a frame, and I, again, stuck it on a piece of mat board or foam core or something, and glued it on the back on there. And yeah, and I think this thing has a little jute hanger also. Yeah, so I gave it to my nephew, I don't know, sometime after he turned 25. Yeah. Because, yeah. So there's that. And then the ribbon embroidery I showed you. Oh, my little Merry Christmas penguin. So this is the Dimensions kit also. And I know I finished it in 2019 because I finished it at Stitch Shenanigans. I had done everything but the snow. He's walking on some snow under here. It's hard to tell from this picture, but this is all white snow. It came with blue Ada and all the threads and stuff. And so I had finished it in 2019 at Stitch Shenanigans, and again, never FFO'd it. So I did this. What is it? Little jute hanger here. This I found at Hobby Lobby, a little frame. It's just a white washed piece of wood with this little frame around it. And so I put it on, I think it's on foam core. And again, I used that green, some of that ribbon from Michael's to around the edges. And yeah, these are all French knots. And then all the white stitching, the snow here. I just think he's cute. And then like the back stitching on this little card that he's carrying letter that he's carrying, it was just like, kind of gibberish, made to look like a name or something. But I changed it to say to Santa on the little letter that he's carrying. He's got his list for Santa. And then I stuck these little holly stickers on there. I bought some time ago at Hobby Lobby. I'm running out of room here to put things. I'm going to have a crap-a-lunch soon if I'm not careful. And then, the Western Biscornu and Bunny Sampler are the next two that I did. This Tiny Modernist, Western Biscornu, this was the first one I had ever purchased. It's not the first one I finished because I finished a couple years ago, two Biscornus, one the Dragon Biscornu and one Gnome Biscornu, and those were also by Tiny Modernist. But this Western Biscornu was the first one I had purchased, and it has, really easy to follow instructions about how to put it together and all that kind of stuff. But I just never finished it. And this was on, I want to say 18 count Ada. And so I finally finished stitching it. I want to say not too long ago, but I had these little purple buttons, little flower buttons that I had bought specifically for this because I felt they matched very nicely. It's a little big because it kind of covers up, a little bit of these little cactuses. But when I went to do this, I did something wrong with it was coming out kind of puckered. It wasn't quite right, so I unstitched it. I had already gone all the way around and it wasn't right, so I took it all apart. And then on one side, I just sort of went over the back stitching line with another, I just stitched over it. So instead of one thread, it's two threads. And then the back side, I didn't want to do it again. So I didn't do the back side of it. Didn't redo the backstitch line. It's just one thread. So, but I could see it better because it's so small. I couldn't see it well enough to make it straight or something. I did was, so in redoing the line, it was easier for me to see and easier for me to stitch it correctly and then stuff it. So that's Western Biscornu by Tiny Modernist. And then, I don't want to run out of time. This is getting long. And the other one was the Bunny Sampler. And this is by, I have the thing here. Chessie and Me, yeah. This Chessie and Me. And again, it's really hard to see this picture. So again, there are a lot of specialty stitches. The alphabet is 1/1, and I think there are some eyelets in all these leaves. And then I did this on 32 count Murano Carré. It has these little flowers painted on there. And then this Tudor Rose is you stitch like 5 spokes, and then you weave thread around it and around it and around it until you come up with this, finish it with this rose. So it's kind of, three-dimensional a little bit there. And then I put my initials on the year. I didn't do it very well, but there it is. And this heart then is also satin stitched. Yeah. So I finished it on this little board. I think, I don't know where I got these at. It could have been the dollar spot at Target, or it could have been at Hobby Lobby. I don't remember. It might have been at Hobby Lobby. It's a little charcuterie board. I don't know where I got it. Now that I think about it, I don't know where I bought it. But there it is. That's the Bunny Sampler. And then real quick here, the Midnight Sleigh Ride. This is an ornament shape I bought at Hobby Lobby, and it had something, I don't know what it, but it was, I liked the look of it. And it came with a jute hanger, and I took the jute hanger out and put ribbon here. And I stitched this a million years ago. 2018 is when I finished it, but I started it, I think the copyright on it is 95. It's from the 95 magazine. And it doesn't, you can't see it right there because of the picture, but it says 1995 on the bottom. And that's actually when I started stitching it. And I, like, you know, tried to find whatever to finish it with, and I just didn't know enough about finishing, and I was kind of intimidated by it with all the ribbon and the Kreinik and all that. But so I finally finished stitching it in 2018, and I had recharted these numbers to say something else, 2004 or something like that. So, you know, when I tried, I thought, oh, maybe I could finish it this year, and I couldn't finish it. So 2018 was when I finally finished it, and finished stitching it, and then didn't FFO it until this year. But I had this is that some white cording that I had bought for it. But I like gathered it on this piece of mat board here, and then stuck it on there. And then this is red fabric that I had, and I just edged it all that white cord also. And then the ornament itself, the ornament shape, I used this tiny rickrack to edge it all the way around in the black so that it would look a little more Christmassy. And then I tied that ribbon on it. And then chocolate bunnies. This is a hands-on design chart. Life needs more chocolate bunnies is the phrase that's on there, and I can't find it now. Here it is. This is a hands-on design. And it came with, you could order a silky thread pack to go with it, but I didn't do that. So this is all just DMC, and I found this board at, I think, at Hobby Lobby, and it came with a jute hanger, and I replaced it with this orange cording, and then used this green rickrack, and I laced it on a mat board. I found that lacing helps me a lot in, this is still slightly off center, but in centering a little better than gluing, because in gluing, if something is very square, you have to make sure you have it exactly square, or it won't look right. And so lacing, I found, is, you know, gives me a little more leeway to adjust it, you know, to make it really centered properly or whatever. So I did that, and I think this is stitched on, I want to say 32 count linen of some kind. Yeah. And so I had a few more ornament finishes, and I don't know why they're not on this list. But so oh, this was on there somewhere. That's a picture of Dragonfly Ant. Sorry. Just making sure I had all of these. Yeah. So this was on my Whip Go list also. I don't know, I missed it. Good Must I Be. This is Homespun Elegance. Sorry, I frowned. By Homespun Elegance. Good Must I Be, so Santa will come see me. And I think she put her, it says Avery on here. I think that was her grandson or something like that, the lady who designed this. So when I stitched it, I put Puck and Snug, my cats, on there. And so when I FFO'd it, I bought this ornament shape at I want to say at Michael's, maybe, I don't know. But it's just a little MDF thing with the jute hanger on it. And so there's Santa on this is a piece of, I want to say, foam core. And again, there's one of those little holly stickers. And I put this on there. And that's that maroon ribbon again. There's a lint or something on there. But yeah, so I finished it on there. That's another little ornament. And then just this, I don't know, in December, I just did this. I had this chart for a while, and it was a little free chart if you purchased these two little buttons, this stocking button and this little mouse button, and it came with a free chart. It's by Jabco. And I'd had it for a while, and I used one of these little ornaments, and I gathered it on there and glued it on there. It's exactly the right size for this ornament. I used a template to cut it, but there's the little button, the little stocking button, and there's the little mouse button. And because he's got like, his little eyes are closed, you know, like he's sleeping, right? It says. And so the fabric that I put on the back has all these little animals with, it's hard to see right there, but their little eyes are closed, right? And so, and he's got this ornament hanging down off of the branch, and I thought it echoed the way the stocking is hanging there very nicely. So, yeah. And then